wins. A lot of other teams have been playing. He played for a few years. So it's good. Yeah, I think we're, it's our next opponent, but I think we're ready. They're kind of fighting for wins too right now, so it'll be a good challenge for us.
It looked like they got some guys back along that front.
Yeah.
How different did they look against the Giants, and what makes that front so good?
Yeah, both their D tackles had like weird hamstring injuries, so they were out for like 3 games or something like that each. But they both were back against the Giants. Obviously Trey Anderson's probably their best pass rusher out there, and he's producing, and then Hubbard kind of does everything for them. But they're good, man. They're all fundamentally sound. They all have kind of their own aspects, and I think when they're all out there, they complement each other well. They're pretty beat up early in the year. I think that was some of their early season struggles. So it'll be a good challenge for us.
Joel, I know you're a guy that prepares at center. So when a guy like Michael Dunn has to go in there kind of on the fly and adjust to that position, how difficult is that to just kind of get thrown in at the center spot?
Yeah, pretty tough. He's done it in a preseason game, I think. But he was preparing that, but he was also preparing to start all last week at right guard. And so there's contingency plans, every week where you're the second or third guy in. But it's tough. I've only had to do it at tackle. I haven't had to go into center, thank God. But yeah, no, it's not fun. But luckily, we're there preparing with them, so we can help try and make some of the calls and work together to get things going.
You said you were excited to play alongside of him for once. How do you think he held up in the entire game?
Yeah, Dunn?
Yeah,
good. Like I said, going on the road and being on silent count for the first time was a little bit tough, but I think he settled in and got us in the right protections and in the right calls most of the time. But to go in there and have to play center is a tough, especially on the road. So I was pumped for him. I love Dunn. He'll fight. He'll compete, and he gives it his all every time. So I'll go out to war with him any day.
When you kind of look in Chubb bring?
Hopefully a huge one. No, he just the work he's put in. I respect him so much as a person and a player, and what he means. What it means to play football. You do it for the guys around you. You do it for your teammates, and he puts it on the line. So I'm excited to have him back there. It's always fun when you got Nick Chubb to block for.
Yeah. So football such a play with a lot of emotion. Can it really have an impact, just his presence?
I think so. I think the moment should add a little bit of emotion, just like what he's been through. I think everybody read that article. The player should be an article, and just being around him for the last year plus in his rehab. And for me, 7 years now, the type of person he is, what it means to him, the type of player he is. So the emotion's going to be there. And it's, I think, the way we use it to our advantage.
This has been all these injuries you guys have been dealing with on this offensive line. Has this been one of the more challenging years in situations that you've been a part of since being here?
Yeah, it's very challenging. We, you have a group of guys that you think are going to be the starters, and guys are trying to rehab from injuries all offseason. They don't quite make it back in time, and then the guys that are playing start to get hurt. You got to throw in, young guys and guys you haven't played next to, and it seems like, okay, we got a kind of stable line. A guy gets hurt first few plays of the game. So it's been a mixed bag, and it's one of those things we're trying to stabilize. We're trying to, help it out so the offense can try and take off a little bit, trying to perform to our level. But it's been tough, and we're working. I know Poe's trying to work, and Wyatt's working to get back and hopefully be out there for us. But it's definitely been a challenge.
Joe, how do you process the trade of Amari when you talk about the struggles of the offense, struggles of the team, and you trade one of your better players and you try to come out of it?
Yeah, I wasn't – obviously we're not privy to that. I woke up from a nap, and I just saw a few texts about it, and I was like, oh, we traded. So we had no idea. There was nothing like that. He was on the leadership committee with us, and we have those meetings all the time. It's part of the NFL. He's been traded a couple times now. You've seen guys get traded. He was a great teammate though for 2 years. Like, I have nothing but positive stuff to say about Coop. Like, he came in to work. He was quiet, but he always worked. He was always getting in the locker room with the guys. I wish him the best, and I think it's an opportunity for a lot of these young guys to step up and make a name for themselves. And and really have a chance to show what they want to do.
Joel, I know at 1-5, tensions can get high. Deshaun's been kind of battle, but I know, like after the game, when Kevin said he's sticking with him and they've maintained that. Just what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I don't think anybody's thought differently. I've told the offense, like, we have to at least give ourselves a chance to perform. Like, we've hurt ourselves so much with penalties, with MAs, with misalignments, with missed blocks. I don't think we can fairly evaluate like what we've done. Like, I'm like, let us play a complete game, and then if we still lose, like, then we can ask questions. Like, we haven't played a complete game where we have, given ourselves a shot yet. And so we'll kind of go from there. But it's on everybody's plate. Like, everybody needs to step up, and everybody kind of realizes that. So it's never really been a question for us on offense.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you saw it, but Mitchell Schwartz like even tweeted something like it's not fair to a guy like you specifically or Miles to kind of keep going down this road. I don't know if you saw it.
No, I haven't been on Twitter. I haven't seen it. Yeah.
But I mean, to have a former teammate say something like that, just your thoughts on that.
Yeah. Like I said, I haven't seen what he was referencing, but we truly have to do our job to our fullest before we can point fingers at other people. And I think, like I said, the offense has to be. Let's give ourselves a chance. Like, we get down in the red zone, we have penalties, we miss blocks, we run the wrong route sometimes. Like, all these things add up where you can't just be like, oh, yeah, if we just change one thing, we'll be good. We have to really give ourselves a chance, and then we can kind of look at it.
Why do you think the same problems have reared its ugly head week in and week out, whether it's the pre-snap penalties, whether it's miscommunication in critical situations, having to burn timeouts? Like, it seems like the same problems show up every week. So I'm just wondering, 6 weeks into this thing, why does that keep happening?
Yeah, we've been trying to figure it out ourselves. Like, because we look at this film and we're like, can't let this happen, and then it goes out there and happens. And I think it's part of it. Rotating the guys in there. Like, we've had a lot of young guys. We had a lot of different people that maybe weren't expecting to play at certain points. And then it's just the ownership, the accountability of like owning the plan. Like, whatever you can do, like, you get the plays. We get the plays on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday throughout the week. Like, we have to own it, and there has to be an accountability factor in that as well. And so that's been stressed this week too. Like, let's own the plan, and let's make sure if it's something people get beat in the NFL, but you can't just line up wrong and beat yourself before the play.
How nice is it to see Jack back out there, and what do you think it meant to him to finally get back after all that?
Yeah, it was huge. He had a major knee injury as well, so he fought back hard, and then he had some little setbacks in camp, and then when he started practicing. So for him to get out there, I think anytime, and he's been through some major ones. So anytime you have a chance to get back out there and play and get to the first game, I know he was a little sore just from playing for the first time in a while, but it was good to see him back. I was very happy for him, and I know the work he put in as well.
Joel, the record is what the record is, but what sort of opportunity does it feel like is still in front of you guys when you have, first of all, the Bengals division opponent, another division opponent on the other side of that, obviously 10 of your last 11 games still being in the NFC?
Yeah. We got to win the game. You know what I mean? I think that's where we're at right now as a team. Like, no one's looking at the schedule and being like, oh, we got 9 out of 10 against, or 10 out of the AFC and stuff. We got to just find a way to win one game, worry about this week, truly win the day-to-day, have our best practice, and go from there.
Is it kind of a chance to get a reset here a little bit, just like coming back home, first division game, all those kind of things?
Yeah, we know the fans are going to bring energy, and we're going to try and feed off that and give them something to cheer about this week. But yeah, it's the way the schedule worked. We got a lot of AFC opponents, so it starts with the Bengals. So, and we're gonna get out there and give it our best.
You mentioned the tweaks in the run game in the second half of the watch. Did you feel those carried over to that Philly game? That's something you guys can stick with and build upon?
Yeah, I thought there were some positives in the run game. It still can always improve, but I think we were pretty efficient most of the time. There were some big runs in some of that mid-zone, outside zone stuff that we've ran in the past. And I think the running back saw it pretty well. So we keep building on that, and then we can add some, play action and things off of that as well.
Brandon Graham was mic'd up this past Sunday when you guys faced the Eagles, and you've seen talking quite a bit of trash too. You guys specifically as an offensive line, what did you make of that whole?
Yeah, we practiced against him twice, and I've played against him probably 3 times now, and he just doesn't stop talking. So honestly, it's just one ear out the other. That's what he does. who he is, and so some of it's funny, like the way he says things. But no, that's just who he is. I mean, 200 appearances, I think, for him, so that's pretty impressive stuff. He's been in the league for a long time, 2010, I think. But no, that's come to expect. He's one of the bigger talkers in the league, so we're used to that.
Is he the biggest trash talker you lined up against?
He probably talks the most. Yeah, I would say he probably talks the most. There's a few, like Christian Wilkins talk. He didn't talk as much this year, but no, he's up there for sure.
Has there ever been a moment where somebody's talking trash and they say something that you guys just can't help but laugh at?
Yeah, occasionally, occasionally you'll get something that's pretty funny, or you get. I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but in the heat of the moment, there's some funny stuff.